his USC career wasn't the greatest this year, but there were a lot of other factors that chimed in on that. The heart condition, of course, and then that whole dysfunction around USC. Worked out at the NBA Combine. His shooting drills, Marvin, I know you're going to get into that in just a minute. The guy was lighting it up. Played pretty well, Marv, in the combine scrimmages. I think I'm not saying it was bad for him. He played pretty well, and I think Bronny's in the top 50 players that are draft eligible. So I think it's good. Now, some people think this is all because of LeBron, but Bronny's trying to make his own way in the NBA. What are your thoughts about Bronny so far in the combine, and what do you think it's going to go for?
Look, I'm not mad at the kid, right? If I'm taking my if I'm separating this and I'm taking my old man self now, and I'm just looking at this as a young man trying to make it to trying to make it to the NBA, I'm not mad at the kid, right? And I'm also not mad that he's getting the notoriety or even the looks that he's getting because of who his father is. I mean, nepotism is well and alive in this country. I mean, just look at the former president that we had. So it's not like this doesn't happen, all the time. But if I'm talking from just a pure basketball standpoint and skill level, I mean, he averaged 13 points in high school, man. I mean, he made the McDonald's All-American game averaging 13 points in high school. I averaged 24, almost 25 points in high school. Was top 25 in the nation. Was a McDonald's All-American nominee, but I didn't make it, and I was pretty damn good. He made the McDonald's All-American game averaging 13 points. He goes to USC and he averages 4 points, right? On 15, 16 minutes a game, right? I know he had the heart condition, and I get that. But from a number standpoint and just from what he did, nothing from the high school level to collegiately did he do that warrants him being at the NBA Combine. And anybody who's played serious basketball would take offense to that because he's not done anything from a number standpoint or what he's put on tape or what people have seen of him on the collegiate level that would warrant him being at an NBA draft combine for the top players coming out of college, international, whatever the case may be. So, and then, we've heard 6'4", 6'5". He gets to the combine, he measures at 6'1". Okay. He's a D3. I don't know anybody 6'1" in the NBA that's a defensive stopper. Not in today's NBA. Okay, the closest that I would give you might have been Avery Bradley, who was probably about 6'2", probably the best guard defender that I've ever seen. But can we just stop this? Like, we all know what this is about. We all know that it's because of his father. I could probably go out in the scrimmage and hit a couple threes right now. I get back in a little bit of shape and play in the scrimmage and hit a couple threes in a floater and look good. Like what are we talking about here? When he played in the things that really mattered against elite competition, in games that was sink or swim, he didn't perform well. And I just think it's because he's just really not that talented, right? He has a great IQ. He understands the game. He's like his dad. He's very thoughtful in the way that he plays the game, but he's not a game changer. And to be at an NBA draft combine, you know who I'm mad about this for? I'm mad about like guys like Mark Sears that played at Alabama. That's 6'1". That took a team to the Final Four, that scored 22 a game in the SEC, that carried a team all year, and that played on the highest level and highest stage, and they're questioning about whether he can make it to the NBA. And you got a guy that's averaging 13 and played 15 minutes in college and averaged 4 points and then put nothing on tape that looks remotely close to what he did, and you're acting like he's a better prospect than a kid like that. That's what's blasphemous about this to me.
Does the NBA draft on stats or potential, Mar? Stats or potential?
Well, he has neither. But he has neither.
But we've seen NBA players. I get it. Well, when you put your shoes on, you're 6'3", and you got a 40-something inch vertical. But but we've seen the NBA draft players that have averaged 6 points a game. They've drafted them in the first round of the NBA.
They were also 6'8" to 7'2". You've not seen. Give me one guard that has been 6'1", that has averaged 4 to 6 points in college, that has been drafted in the first round? Give me
We've
just one.
seen it.
And anybody
We've,
out there listening, put it in the
we've
comment
seen
box.
it,
Go
though,
ahead and
Mark.
Google it and find it.
We've seen player after player average 5 points, 3 rebounds, and get drafted. So now Bronny can't get drafted
Yeah, a
because
seven-footer,
he
Lee.
averaged 5
Seven-footer.
points in the league. I mean, I don't get it. We have to do comparisons when we do this stuff. And the comparison is that players all the time are drafted off potential. And there have been players, multiple players every year that average 6 points overseas, 6 points, and came in the league. So why can't Bronny do it? Now we have to stop this. Give the kid a chance.
I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting on somebody to give me a 6'1" guard that averaged 4 to 6 points in whether it was overseas, the Euro League, the Taiwanese League, the North Korean League, or college basketball that's averaged that amount of points that got drafted in the first round, or anybody's even talking about as a potential first round at 6'1". I'll wait.
Guys, and Dr. O, I saw the reports of some of these anonymous scouts. People throw anonymous scouts comments out there all the time. People have agendas all the time. I don't go with, to me, anonymous scouts means nothing, right? Means nothing. I can tell you this much. The guy can
before
shoot.
You go, please read Elliot's comment real quick, and then
I was just getting ready to read it.
All right.
But since you were, Bronny James needs to accept the feedback from the NBA Combine, go play for Drew Joyce at Duquesne next season and work on every aspect of his game. It's an embarrassment. I totally disagree. I totally disagree because, again, we see all of these people that are drafted on potential. And the guy has potential. He can shoot the three. He's very athletic.
How do you know, Lee? How do you know he can shoot the three? Because he made some open jumps. How do you go out here to the record and make 2 in a row still? How do you know he can shoot the three? Because we haven't seen it in the game. We don't have no real game footage of him burying the three and being consistent from the three. We don't have no real game footage of him locking down anybody defensively. I don't have any game footage of him controlling a basketball game or leading his team to the Elite Eight or the Final Four at 6'1". I have none. All I got is him making 3 shots at a scrimmage at a combine that he shouldn't be in.
Well, he was at the combine with other draft eligible players. Now, see, we can't have it both ways. He played better than some of the draft eligible players that were at the combine. Is that not true, Mark? David Jones from Memphis. David Jones, we talked about him a great deal during the Tiger season. He played better than David Jones at the combine, and he played better than other players at the combine.
Do you think Bronny will be a better pro than David Jones?
I don't know if he's going to be a better pro.
I'm gonna start having to question your basketball aptitude if you really say that. See, I think you're just trying to antagonize me right now. I think that's what you're trying to do. Because I know you better than that.
Did he play better than some of the draft eligible players at the combine?
I don't know. Just like you just talked about anonymous NBA sources, I'm getting anonymous footage of 2 seconds in a basketball game. I don't know how he played the complete game. I see him making 3 shots. So I really don't know.
Dr. O, I'm going to say this. I think David Jones is going to be a good player in the NBA. He has great NBA skills. But those same scouts that you guys said that made the comments on Bronny James said that he possibly should go back to Memphis and get the NIL money. Give the kid a chance to play. They invited him to the combine. He didn't look. They could have said no invitation
because his last name is James. That's why.
If
he was the orange, he'd be sitting right here behind his desk just like I am right now. You're talking about sports. He wouldn't even sniff the combine, just like I didn't sniff it when I came out, and I had an okay college career. I scored double digit in NCAA. I set an SEC record for 3-pointers in an SEC tournament game. I started for 4 years. I played 120 some odd games at the University of Alabama with a whole bunch of pros and couldn't sniff the combine against the SEC competition, which was the best at that time. We had 5 different teams make the Final Fours, and I couldn't sniff it, but he could sniff it because his last name is James.
The hate against Bronny James is real. That's all I'm gonna say. It's real.